Hey y'all, it's Miranda. Welcome back. I am still working on my next project, my next big painting currently. It's right here next to me on my desk. I am just wanting to make sure I take my time with it. But I'm really excited to share my next top 5 artists of the month for March. And I'm having a lot of fun doing this monthly project because I get to talk to my friends, my coworkers, my family members about all the different artists that they like, that I like myself, and just kind of collaborating and getting an idea of all these artists that everyone connects with in some special way, or just minor way even. It's a really educational and personal project that I get to, be a part of every month, and also gives me a good excuse to actually post once monthly at least. So let's just get right into it. My first artist has to be Jeff Koons. I have always admired this artist, and obviously being a huge Lady Gaga fan, I loved the era of art pop and Jeff Koons and her collaboration with him through just their creative minds and their creative outlooks on pop culture, popularity. And it's pretty obvious as well that I am a very kitsch artist at times, and I love kitsch art, even though I know Jeff himself does not even subscribe to that particular title of being a kitsch artist or having kitsch artwork. He's used the words vibrant and saturation and excitement, and I think that those are great ways to describe his artwork that I find that I definitely connect with whenever I see his artwork. Growing up with art pop and getting to know Lady Gaga as an artist, I personally adore someone like Jeff Koons because his artwork is very exciting and very popular and vibrant in nature, and there's something so beautiful and simple about that. A lot of critics call his work the opposite of traditional masterworks, but I personally don't agree with that. I think that it's actually a really excellent thing that his artwork is so vibrant and simplistic and mundane in a way, in a great way. I recently read an interview about him talking about the subject of, if you were to be on your deathbed, would there be anything that you wished you would have done, or that you wish you could just go back and accomplish, or just go for, or just do it, just because it's that simple enough to just do things at times. But we hold ourselves back. I didn't expect him to talk about such a subject matter, but it really had me thinking in terms of his artwork. And even though these objects and items and things, popular pop culture references, might be really simplistic or mundane, but there's something so important and vibrant about these artworks and these objects and these things, to just go for it and talk about sexuality, talk about bodies, talk about pop icons, and really just the different subjects and eras of American culture and pop culture. There's so much to the world that might seem mundane or scary or kitsch or overwhelming, but just going for it. I think really just embracing the simple things in life and enjoying what's going on in your world, and also reaching out into other parts of your world that you haven't even really seen yet, and just trying to explore more and be more a part of pop culture, be more a part of culture in general, whatever that might be. Overall, Jeff Koons is a very inspirational artist to me. He reflects so clearly in my work, so I definitely had to include Jeff Koons as my number 1 artist of the month for sure. The next artist I'd like to talk about is a very special one indeed. I remember discovering this artist back in college, like I pretty much do with all of these artists, but especially this one, getting to know portraiture and realistic, naturalistic artwork, is Kehinde Wiley. He is an absolute brilliant artist. In terms of his style itself, it is very old master painting, realistic, almost hyper-realistic, lighting and portraiture that is so beautiful and captivating. And with him also adding in this pattern work all within his artwork is so contrasting and comparable to just how beautiful these two different styles of artworks can be whenever they're combined. Lighting, the lighting itself, for me, lighting is such a special thing that when you can capture it and you can hold it into a painting the best way you can, as realistic as he does it, it is just like the most amazing thing ever. This, to see it is just alone so satisfying and so inspiring, and all I want to do is paint and do that. He is a true gift to present American art. And I am so thankful that I have come upon his work. To know that there's artists out there that are still doing this old master style of painting in terms of realism and lighting and captivating detail. But also incorporating this pattern work, this glorious, vibrant, beautiful pattern work that is almost like a beautiful wallpaper. And overall, I just adore his work, and it is captivating and awe-striking. Leading into the third artist that I have on my list for March is Piet Mondrian. Please excuse my mispronunciation if I do say his name a little bit different. Piet Mondrian is an artist that I truly admire, and I will always hold close through my whole lifetime as an artist, my whole lifetime as an individual, really. I've heard a lot of people say that he is the greatest artist of the 20th century, and I truly hold that close to my heart because he's inspired me since that moment when I was a kid. Up until now. Every time I see his artwork, it is always inspiring, and I feel like I really truly connect with it. I feel every artist should be theory driven in terms of what they believe in and what their ideologies are and what they want to say and what they want to understand and discover and explain, really. And he was definitely a master of that. He inspired many in terms of shapes, colors, composition, structure, and I'm always so satisfied when I see his artworks. And recently I went on a date and I got to turn the corner again like I did when I saw Patricia Piccinini's work. I was just, having a good time on a first date and kind of nervous and just wanting to walk around at the Dallas Museum of Art, and I turned the corner and all of a sudden I see one of his artworks, and it was just like, I'd probably totally embarrass myself in front of this guy. I just jaw dropped and just openly just freaking out. It was like I was meeting a celebrity. I kept telling my date that it was like I was starstruck, and I ran into a Basquiat. I ran into all of these different artworks and artists that I have been looking up to for years and years and years. So that's a little story about that. I grew up, again, getting to know this artist and falling in love with color, falling in love with primary colors, secondary colors, how colors interact in general. And now being a 27-year-old woman trying to connect with the world again, just came upon this artist like that. It was definitely a moment that I'll never forget, and it just kind of put everything in perspective in terms of, I've been admiring these artists for years and years, and now I'm really starting to physically connect with them, and that's a beautiful thing. I'm so grateful to have the means and the opportunities to see these artworks and connect with them so closely. So that was a great experience for sure, and I absolutely adore this artist. Now, the next artist that I actually did run into at the Dallas Museum of Art on that same date was Pablo Picasso, which is, of course, naturally a very inspiring Spanish artist that I personally connect with because I am Spanish as well, and I adore him. And his artwork is unmatched. His ideals on life and culture are forever inspiring, and I personally will always adore this artist and his work. Mostly his paintings are the biggest inspiration for me, obviously, but I know him being a sculptor, a ceramic maker, a designer in theater. Everything that he represents and that he was a part of is, of course, inspiring, but especially his paintings. Being Spanish and having him as an inspiration will always keep me motivated in terms of what I believe in myself and my culture, and how I want to represent that and how I want to stay in tune with it. So whenever I see him, I think of my family. I feel like he looks like one of my family members. I feel like we look like we're related, and I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but I do feel that connected to him, and it feels like this family-oriented connection that I feel with his art and him as a person. So yeah. And finally, last but certainly, definitely, absolutely not least, is Jenny Saville, a contemporary figure painter that I had discovered again during college, but she to this day is one of the most, if not the most impactful figure artist that I idolize. This artist, she captivates and presents figures in these different shapes and textures and colors and atmospheres. She really sets a mood. She sets a feeling, pain, misery, happiness, pleasure, everything in terms of what we feel in our bodies and how bodies look and how they're presented and how imperfect they are, how flawless and imperfect bodies are. She captures that in the most gorgeous, beautiful, inspiring ways. When I was going to school and whenever I was really trying to understand what it is that I am really good at when it comes to art, what I am talented, what I'm gifted at, I gravitated towards figure drawing, figure painting, getting to know the figure, especially women in art, especially women's figures, women's bodies, how we connect with the world, how we are and who we are individually, together, unified, everything separately. We are so gorgeous and beautiful, and we're never ending, and we are like mazes that hold so much beauty in the shapes and sizes and colors that we possess. And she captivates that, and I want to captivate that. And I had several different master copies that I made during my school time in college for different projects. I wanted so badly to understand what it was she was trying to convey. I have spent a lot of my time getting to know who I was as an artist in college by drawing figures and creating these female aesthetics and understanding of women, understanding physiques and understanding how we pose and how we hold ourselves in the world, around a room, around objects, around the space that we possess and the moments. It's so powerful, and she shows that power, and she shows those colors and lighting and patches and splotches and imperfections that are so beautiful. The depth that she portrays when in her paintings, that is just so captivating, so inspiring. She has such a way of connecting with a physical bond and emotion within us, within bodies, within each other. And that was a moment that I carry to this day whenever I think of Jenny, whenever I think of her work. And if I ever do a figure drawing, there's never a time in that moment where I don't think of her, and I don't remember how inspired I am by her and how much I want to captivate what she does for me. I just want to give that to others, and I want to give that to my art whenever I'm doing figure drawing. So Jenny Saville is by far one of my top favorite idolized artists ever. I think about her constantly, and I have so many different artworks that are completely inspired by her. Jenny Saville, that's my girl. That is my girl. So yeah, overall, every single one of these artists is equally, in their own rights and own respects, is an inspiration to me in all different aspects, and every aspect in the same aspect. connect with art in some way or another. And I definitely recommend doing master copies. Master copies connects you so much with an artist that's come before, because really, as original as we all would like to be, there's nothing like getting to know what's already happened before. Seeing and understanding the accomplishments that artists before you have done is so important, and it will change your life. It will change your artistic mind, your artistic life, and your personal life, really. I promise my next painting video will come soon. I'm still working on the painting itself. It's an oil painting and it's pretty large, and it's a really, really important inspirational artwork for me. So please be patient with me. I promise I'll have it done as soon as I possibly can. And that is all. I appreciate y'all watching, and yeah, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Okay, bye. How to spell his name. I need to figure out how to pronounce his name, because I'm not Dutch, and I'm not gonna act like I know how to say all of these artists' names the correct way the first time. Your girl's got a lisp. Your girl's a little special. She can't always remember. She can't always remember how to say things. I need help. Okay, time to go take off my bra. I'm over it. Good night.